What's up? Hello, it's Kirilo. And today I'll be talking about, I don't know, I just came up with a big idea, and I have to share it with someone before I actually try to make it happen, but the thing is that no one watches my videos, so I'm kind of sharing it with myself. So even if I share it and it doesn't happen, no one really knows unless someone watches this video. And in that case, I don't even know who you are. So it doesn't matter. So I came up with a great idea. If you watched my previous videos, you probably know that I had been trying to come up with some ideas, and I was like, how do you even come up with ideas? Blah blah blah. And then I was overwhelmed, and I was trying to get myself on track, and then I kind of realized that everything that I've been kind of doing became basically everything that I was doing became I just do it for passing. There is no real interest in what I'm doing. I don't really like it. And after a couple of sessions of reflection, with my sister, she suggested one thing, and it is that I told her, look, I really want to learn this, learn that, and eventually at some point make my own film, my short film, and it would be cool and great and everything. And she was saying like, you gotta have some people. And then it would be much easier, and it would be just more fun. And she actually gave me other points, but I kind of tried to simplify it to it will be much more fun, and eventually you don't need to do the whole thing. And when you do a lot and you put too much on yourself, it's just overwhelming, and you cannot be good at everything. I know that, but I still kind of persisted on the idea that I want to kind of learn. I understand that, but I want to learn things. And so, but then I kind of like thought about it, and then a huge plan came up in my head, and then it kind of developed. And it developed into like creating a short film, but not just creating a short film, but creating the whole production team. And it is kind of a fascinating thing to me, because I was like saying, I think that I mentioned it in my last video, I cannot remember a shit from that, but I kind of have, or I just came up with it like last days, is that I'm really not about the process. I'm not about the result. I'm about the process, and I want to improve the process, and the outcome would increase by itself. That's what you have to invest in, is the process. And this is where I find fun. I don't find fun in like actually producing something, like the actual fact of producing. I like to come up with things. I love to kind of communicate them and bounce off each other some ideas, and all of this process is very inspiring for me. And so like the process of like people and assembling teams and everything and creative environment, that's kind of like what I find very fascinating. And actually in the last video, in the like yesterday, I watched a video about like how to learn more and easier kind of things, like how to get straight A's at your exams or whatever. And one of the tips was that standing up, like I do right now, your brain works 5 to 20% more. That's an interesting thing that not many people know. So now you know that. And so I think that my brain works a little better when I kind of like walk around. You see, my light is kind of changing all the time, but it's a dynamic light. I don't know. I'm just having fun. So back to the film thing, and I realized that I should kind of create a team. I'm interested in building teams, and then I realized that I have one person that I can actually trust, that can be also interested in making this. However, I need to kind of pitch my whole thing, and it's a very risky thing. And to follow one of the words that Steve Jobs said, just stay foolish, stay hungry. Or stay hungry, stay foolish. I don't remember the order. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm kind of hungry, and it's very hard to stay foolish. Because your hunger it fades away as soon as you realize like things are, this could happen or that could happen and it cannot happen, and eventually you're like, oh no, it's not gonna happen at all. And then this is where you become less foolish and your hunger just fades away completely. So that's what I'm trying to keep my eye on this idea that I have to stay hungry and stay foolish. And so from this, I'm just telling you that I know the person that I can talk to, that knows another person that I also know, but they're like all very much like, they all I used to be classmates with them, and they left, hopefully for good. But I'm sure it's still kind of like not very. They also have this kind of. They lost their passion. They lost their. I think that's cool that I went to, and I touched on that in my previous videos. That's cool. Kind of just messes up your whole thing if you're passionate, or you're like, or you have some, you have some fire and it just gets extinguished completely, unfortunately. I don't know, it's like the city problem, which is pretty small, or it's the teachers' problems, or it's like people around you. And I think it is a combination of all of those things, and I can say that each of the things I mentioned are very tough on you. And if you had fire, those three things, they will just mess with you, unfortunately. And so those people, it messed up their perception of the whole thing, their mindset, it just changed, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to be here anymore. And that's what I was also kind of thinking. And I was kind of like, they were leaving, and I had like, yeah, man, I was like, I would leave like any moment, but, and there were some factors like, I think, networking and the group projects that I was very like attached to. So the school was never about the teachings at all, and what the curriculum at all. It was all about the people that I cared about. It was all about the projects and the group projects that could happen with the people I cared about. And it was networking. And networking, I mean, at the end of each year, we have people coming from the industry. Sometimes we have lectures, like online talks. from people from the industry, and you kind of network with them, and so you kind of you just get some acquaintances in the industry, and they usually and they're up for help, for feedback, for some guidance how to step into it. And so that said, I kind of there was this thing that was keeping me there. And what happened? People left. As I said, people that I talk about, that I want to work with, they all left the school. Group projects turned out to be with people that I don't like, so I don't like those group projects anymore, even though we will have one very soon. No way I'm taking part in that. So unfortunately, that the other thing that I was caring about just disappeared, and it's just like, no, not anymore. That's the reason for me to stay there. And the third reason was networking, and the thing is that I kind of networked somehow over 2 years, and some people, it was kind of really fun. I have some like really small stories that were like, they're so, they're interactions, I would say, not even stories, just like a couple of really interesting interactions where I had like some cool people that I admired, and they were really they kind of remembered me, and we had like an after party, and I talked to them, and they were like saying some words like, I don't know, something related to me, and they kind of noticed me, and they said that I was pretty good, and it felt very much like I have the potential, and they could see it somehow, and it was just fun to network. But it happens like once a year, and the rest of the university part, like curriculum and teachers, it's just off. It's just off from my perspective. That's it. I have a right for my own opinion, and my opinion is that it sucks. Anyway, and yeah, that's the reason I'm kind of not studying anymore the same way as they left. I kind of left, but I'm still there. I'm still on campus. And I have a very exciting thing that I'm gonna do on campus. Maybe even two things. One of these things would be a short film, but it's a very questionable thing. I would say it's just a thing that might happen or may not happen, but I hope that I can kind of figure this out. But there's one thing that very likely to happen, but still cannot happen. Basically, I'm staying on campus, but I'm not studying anymore. That's the thing. So I kind of also left as the same way my previous classmates left. And now I want to contact them and actually present the plan that I just wrote today, my first draft, like a business plan. It's not really a business plan, it's just like how to produce a short film, and what each of us would do, and what people also we need, and how to build a team. It's very rough. I'm sure that I'm missing some things, but since the production process, I'm kind of aware of the whole process, and yeah, I just need some execution. And yeah, that's kind of it.